And there we go. It says you are live. How you like that?
We're live.
Yep.
Except it says waiting for blue marble science. Oh, wait a
Really?
minute. Maybe I refresh.
Refresh it and see what it does. We should be, at least my machine says we're live. It could be lying, though. You never know. Oh, and it says excellent condition, too. I like that. I had so much trouble for a while with this thing. But I had my computer operating off of the Wi-Fi. And it used to just go crazy sometimes on YouTube. But I switched over and ran a cable to it. That solved all that problem. It's been really solid lately.
There can be latency in Wi-Fi, and it can cause, issues, and especially when you've got multiple things all trying to run, timing's sort of important, and it gets screwed up. It all sort of throws its hands up and stops working.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What part of us? What part of you're down south, Rob?
Yeah, I'm in Christchurch, or just to the east of west of Christchurch.
Right. Right.
Yeah, about 35k from the coast, something like that.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, but it is the Pacific Ocean. It's the biggest chunk of water on the planet, and so it don't change temperature easily.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it is resistant to that.
Yeah, it's partly why the southern hemisphere temperature is more moderate than the, we don't get the extremes of the northern hemisphere, because we've got this massive heat sink that absorbs heat in the summer and gives it off in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a little bit backwards to us on the eastern side of the U.S. anyway. Our gyre flows up from the tropics,
yes,
up the East Coast, and which is the only thing that keeps England from being a damn iceberg, I think.
Yeah, some of the latest I've been reading about it, there's a few of the scientists are a little worried about that the amount of cold water coming off Greenland could cause some problems. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if that little conveyor belt ever shuts down, it's going to be a real problem. For sure. Got a lot of people out in the chat already. Got 27 people watching. Repo Sandman, a Madman, Charlie Welch, Gorg Haynes, Real Cygnus, The Turtle Moves, Clive Wells, and a host of others, I'm sure. Marcus Dresden. Judy Bassett's out there, but Judy Bassett's in here too. Hello, Judy.
Hello.
Approaching midnight, or no, 11 o'clock in Finland right now, right?
Yes.
So.
And daylight outside. Well, like I said, we have civil twilight.
So let's see. Right now we've got 11 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 o'clock tomorrow represented right here live. That's amazing.
It's one of those mysteries that we understand very well, but there's a few that don't.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. No matter how hard we try, they manage to misunderstand it. Hello, John Rapp. RT96, News Now, Ohio. If I miss anybody, I apologize. Not intentional, I assure you. Yeah, Judy was telling us she's now officially got 4 hours of dark, or sort of dark, right, Judy?
Actually, it would be civil twilight. So you could still go out and read a book during the middle of the night.
How far is the Arctic Circle from you?
Well, I'm at 63 degrees.
Not far. Not too awfully far. Well,
Whereabouts in Finland are you, Judy?
In Finland.
Okay, fair enough.
Judy's in the city of Finland.
Right, yes.
Well, okay, if you want to know, I'm in Vasa.
Okay, yes.
No, it's not. You don't have to.
On the coast.
Yeah, my partner's mother lives in Helsinki. So I know Helsinki reasonably well. It's a while since I've been there, but I've had a few trips.
I've been in Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Been in Sweden a lot. Finland I missed for some reason. Guess I never had a reason. I kind of like that part of the world. I could see living there. Now, the winters aren't all that extreme. It's a little chilly, but you can handle it. Hoping we'll get some more people joining us here on Discord. I could probably post a link out there if I really wanted to. Let's see, how can I do that? Oh, yeah. This should work. There you go. Anybody wants to come in, feel free. Send me something in the text if you're just joining the server, and I'll give you the right rules and you can join the voice.
Oh, you've been there.
I was thinking about playing one of my old videos. And I might just do that. It's one that I did. I can't remember who the knucklehead was that I was debunking, but it has all to do with the SR-71 Blackbird. And an amazing pilot by the name of Brian Shull that tells a wonderful story he calls the LA Speed Check. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it or not, but it's...
I have.
There's like to use because they don't understand it.
Yeah, it's a great story, but the idiot that tried to use it as some kind of proof of flat Earth needs his head examined. Let me see if I can get that up on the screen. First of all, let me share my...
I'm sure Brian would have been much more careful in what he said if he'd thought that some lunatic flurf would come along sometime in the future and misquote it and misscrew it all up. So.
Oh, clearly. But Rob, if you and Judy will click on live over here in Discord, you'll be able to hear the audio from it. Otherwise, you have to watch it on YouTube and get that delay in there. Now, let's see. I need to get it on YouTube. How do I do that? I know. Turn that off and turn that on. There we go. And let's just give a listen to it for fun. May I have your attention, please? The Earth is a sphere. That is all. Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Marble Science. Today we're going to talk about a really terrible way to try to debunk the globe. Now everybody relax, this is really going to be talking about Major Brian Shull, retired U.S. Air Force pilot, and about the SR-71 Blackbird. Brian's one of only 93 people to ever fly that airplane. It's always a pretty good idea to have the oven mitts handy and keep the monitors back out of punching range, but basically, let's just listen to a cool story about a really cool airplane and an even cooler pilot. Before we talk about this failed debunk attempt, let me give you a little background on Brian Shull and the SR-71 Blackbird for those of you who aren't familiar. Brian Shull was a U.S. Air Force pilot. He was shot down over Vietnam late in the war, and he suffered some horrific injuries, but he eventually recovered from that. He volunteered to be a pilot for the SR-71 Blackbird and was accepted. Brian is one of only 93 guys to ever pilot this airplane. The SR-71 Blackbird was the replacement for the U-2 spy plane. SR is the designation for strategic reconnaissance. The airplane was the brainchild of Kelly Johnson at the Lockheed Skunk Works. The Blackbird, to this day, remains the highest flying, fastest air-breathing aircraft ever built, and it was built in 1964 with slide rule technology. The Blackbird can fly at altitudes in excess of 90,000 feet, at speeds in excess of 3.5 Mach. It is absolutely incredible. But a channel called Level Earth Observer tries to take a humorous story that Brian Shull tells and use that somehow as proof that the Earth is flat. So let's listen to Level Earth Observer. It won't take long to see where this guy is going.
Today we're going to have a quick listen to Major Brian Shull of the United States Air Force, former SR-71 pilot, retelling a few stories from back in the day, and in doing so, Brian is going to absolutely annihilate the globe theory. We're then going to have a look at the globe distance to the horizon calculator, and then we're going to compare
Can you hear me?
the observations that Brian Shull was seeing,
Yeah, you're
measure
good.
the distance, compare it to the distance of the horizon
Yeah, I might have
calculator,
to.
i.e.
Let me
the
drop
globe
and rejoin
mathematics.
because I gotta put it through my headphones.
A
All
big
right.
fail, I can tell you. And then we're going to use Google Earth to try and recreate Major Brian Shull's observation. Testing Google Earth and testing the globe at the same time.
Testing Google Earth and testing the globe at the same time, huh? I don't think so, Scooter. I don't believe you're going to make it that far.
And it's a big double whammy fail, I can tell you, as the heights we have to go to recreate Brian Shull's observations in his SR-71 is ridiculous.
All right, I think I should
Let's
be
have
good
a
now.
quick listen to Brian first.
When Walter and I were doing a training mission around the United States, we just were building up hours and time, and we take off out of Beale, hit a tanker in Idaho, rip on up to Montana, zip across Denver, hang a right turn in Albuquerque, out over Los Angeles, up to Seattle, back into Sacramento, 2 hours, 21 minutes.
So what are you going over, Big Blue?
And you just do that then you do it backwards, and you hit a tanker or two. It was just to gain crew coordination.
Whoops. Well, we're watching this video right now. So if you click on the live on my screen thing there, you'll hear it and watch it. Okay?
I got it.
Build your hours. We're on our last training mission. We're over Tucson. I can see downtown LA from Tucson. We're at 89,000 feet. I can see the whole western United States bathed in a warm October fall glow. I can see the chain of Rocky Mountains from Canada to New Mexico. I could just see the most beautiful picture laid at my feet in this.
Fantastic, Brian. Thank you. And no doubt it was incredibly flat, my dear man, if you were seeing that far.
And maybe Brian was just telling a funny story, not thinking that years later Cletus might show up and poop on the windscreen.
So Brian, at 89,000 feet, was seeing the whole western side of the United States. He was 89,000 feet above Tucson. He could see the whole of the western side of the United States. He could see downtown LA. He could see the Rocky Mountains in Canada coming all the way down to New Mexico.
So which part of that route of flight confused you? The part where he hit the tanker over Idaho? Or when he was over Montana or Denver or Albuquerque or Tucson? You know, I'm pretty sure he and Walter would have seen the entire chain of the Rocky Mountains on that flight.
Incredible! Let's just have a look on a map, just to give you some idea. 2 secs.
Many people don't know this, but if you qualify for this new offer through Pink Energy, you could get paid over.
So here's a map of the
Damn
western
commercials.
United States. Tucson is right at the bottom there, below Phoenix. And of course our pilot Brian was 89,000 feet above Tucson. And strangely enough, he was seeing the whole of the United States. Not only that, he was seeing the Rockies come down from Canada all the way down to New Mexico. You kind of gave the game away there, Brian, as we're about to see. Okay, over at the distance to the horizon calculator. Observer height 89,000 feet. Calculate the distance. We get a distance to the horizon of 365.9 miles. Already, anyone who looked at that map just now can see there's an obvious problem. Right, let's get some idea of distance here. I'm going to be quite kind to the globe believers. I'm not going to measure all the way to the Rockies inside of Canada. I'm going to measure to the border. Just to be fair here. I don't want to crush your globe too much.
Oh, don't worry,
Give us
you
some
won't.
idea. Distance. Let's say approximately 1,100 miles to the Rockies on the US-Canadian border, okay? It's actually a lot further. If I was to include the whole Rockies, we'd be looking in the region of 1,500 miles. But we'll give the Globies a sort of fighting chance here. Not that their reality is real whatsoever, it's pantomime, as we've just seen. So we've got that, 1,100 miles. This SR-71 pilot was seen at an absolute minimum from 89,000 feet. But the globe mathematics tell him, and us, that the horizon, i.e. the cut-off point, should have been just over 300, was it 369 miles, was it? Let me just double check. 365.9 miles. So the horizon on the globe model from an observation height of 89,000 feet should be 365 miles away, i.e. the cut-off point. But strangely enough, Brian is seeing another 7, if we want to include the Canadian Rockies, another 1,200 miles. Oh dear. This only happens when you know, when it's a lie. You wouldn't have these problems if the globe was fundamentally true.
I got an idea. Instead of cherry picking words out of a comedy routine Brian Scholl is doing, ask yourself this question. If you leave Atlanta, Georgia, over here, and fly direct to Los Angeles, over here, by the time you're even with, say, Birmingham, which is right about there, the aircraft will be pretty much at cruising altitude, let's say 40,000 feet. Figure out why it is you can't see New Orleans. Why can't you see Houston, Texas over here? You know, hundreds of millions of people, maybe billions of people, have taken that flight, and not one of them has ever reported being able to see the Gulf Coast. Why is that? You don't suppose the curvature of the Earth's getting in the way now, do you?
So let's go on Google Earth now before we finish, and let's see how high we have to get before we can actually see what Brian, the SR-71 pilot, stroke globe knockout artist, could see. Let's have a look. 2 secs.
Well, I got a better idea. Instead of listening to any more of your foolishness, why don't we listen to the LA Speed story by Major Brian Shull? Believe me, this is worth listening to.
It's called the LA Speed story. And it was just a story about one day it was really cool being SR-71 pilot. Walter and I were doing a training mission around the United States where you just were building up hours and time. And we take off out of Beale, hit a tanker in Idaho, rip on up to Montana, zip across Denver, hang a right turn in Albuquerque, out over Los Angeles, up to Seattle, back into Sacramento, 2 hours, 21 minutes. And you just do that and you do it backwards, and you hit a tanker or two. It was just to gain crew coordination, build your hours. We're on our last training mission. We're over Tucson. I can see downtown LA from Tucson. We're at 89,000 feet. I can see the whole western United States bathed in a warm October fall glow. I can see the chain of Rocky Mountains from Canada to New Mexico. I could just see the most beautiful picture laid at my feet, and the air as smooth as glass, not a gauge moving in the cockpit. It was perfect. Now I'm thinking, we bad. And I feel sorry for Walter because he has to monitor 5 radios in the back seat, so I flipped the switch up just to listen. And LA Center is controlling, they control all, when you fly Southwest Air, the guys controlling everybody. But we're above controlled airspace. So they have us on their scope, but they're not talking to us. Now there's controllers all over the country, Jacksonville Center, Chicago Center, Seattle Center, you know. It's the same guy. They all talk the same. And it's really cool the way they talk because they make you feel important as a pilot. They don't just say, yeah, okay, here's your thing. They make you feel really cool. So sure enough, this was pre-GPS days. Some Cessna guy has to know his ground speed. LA Center, Cessna, November Tango Alpha. You got a ground speed readout for us? Now Center would like to say, who cares, get off free. But no, he'll talk to him like he's John Glenn. Cessna, November Alpha, we show you 90 knots, 90 knots on the ground. And they do that sing-song, but that's how they talk. And it makes you feel kind of cool. Right after that, a twin Bonanza came up to pimp the guy for speed, I guess, and LA Center, Twin Beach, whatever. You got a ground speed readout for us? And Center likes it. God, it's Friday. Why me? God, please, just get off. But he's going to talk to him like he's Air Force One. Twin Beach, we show you 121, 20 knots on the ground. And right after that, a Navy F-18 out of Lemoore popped up on frequency. And you knew it was a Navy guy because he talked really slick on the radio. Center, Dusty 5-2 speed check. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Dusty 5-2 has a ground speed indicator in that $1 million F-18 cockpit. It's right there in the heads-up display. Why is he calling Center to broadcast his speed? I get it. We are just the meanest, baddest, fastest military jet in the valley today. We're taking our little Hornet jet over Mount Whitney and ripping across Death Valley. And we want everyone from Fresno to the coast to know what real speed is. And you can almost hear a little glee in the controller's voice, like, we have put an end to this. Dusty 5-2, we show you 620, 620 knots across the ground. And it was that across the ground. See that little knife, like, I hope nobody else has the nerve to get on frequency now. And there wasn't an airliner from Seattle to San Diego that wanted to be next on freak. It's sort of an etiquette thing amongst flyers. And a 12-year-old was reaching for the mic button. And I thought, oh, no, wait, Walter's in charge of the radios. I flew single seat all those years, but I'm in the family model now, and I wanted, no, it's the Navy. They must die. They must die now. And I thought, no, but if I do, I'll upset Walter, and I want us to be a good crew. And at that moment, I heard a click of the mic button in the back seat. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter and I became a crew at that moment. In his best innocent voice, LA Center, Aspen 30, have you got a ground speed readout for us? You could almost hear a collective gasp on freak, like, oh, the poor fools didn't hear the previous transmissions. Oh, they got crushed like a grape. It's just a pilot thing. But Center had to give you that same voice. Aspen 30, we show you 1,992 knots across the ground. When I knew I was going to like Walter a lot is when he came back and said, Center, we're showing a little closer to 2,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we did not hear another transmission on that frequency all the way to the coast. The King of Speed lived, the Navy had been flamed, and a crew had been formed. For just a moment, it was absolutely fun being the fastest guys on the block.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And there you have the LA Speed story. I don't care how many times I listen to it, it's still fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, and you know, flying stories are like fishing stories or hunting stories, war stories. There's always an element of truth involved in it, but it's usually highly embellished, and nothing abnormal about that. But that has to be one of the worst attempts at debunking the globe I've ever listened to. Level Earth.
I don't think he ever mentioned that he saw all those things at the same time.
No, he didn't. He said he could
And that's
see.
kind of where he took it.
He said he could see downtown LA over Tucson or somewhere, which is probably true. You probably can, or you're probably beginning to be able to see the tops of the buildings from where he was. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. You can't prove a damn thing by that. Just kind of crazy.
Kind of just a case of taking what he said out of context.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and he said he went all the way up to Seattle. That's not getting that far from the Canadian border, is it?
No, he easily would have seen the Canadian Rockies, yeah. Flying right across the top of the U.S. Sure, you'd see them. Yeah, I don't have any doubt he saw everything he mentioned somewhere along the route of flight. Not all at the same time, for God's sakes.
The other thing, too, is the speed he's going over the ground. 2,000 miles an hour over the ground, you know, and in the breath of Leo, he's traveled quite a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's faster than that, 2,200 miles an hour or more.
Yes, because it was knots, wasn't it?
It's in knots, yeah. Yeah, we do it in knots. Whoops. Where'd B-ball go?
Yeah, well, a good rule of thumb, you can almost double it for kilometres. 1.8, isn't it? Knots to kilometres.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's pretty close.
Yeah, so 4,000 kilometres, call it 3,500 kilometres an hour. You know, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's ripping. Absolutely. Can't imagine flying one of those things. But anyway, that was just a cool story. Yeah. I saw that thing. I thought, well, maybe we'll just play that one for fun. I don't care much about the debunk part of it. Level Earth is an idiot. But I guess I didn't need to say that. He thinks the Earth is flat. So, yeah.
You're stating the obvious.
Yeah. I seem to be belaboring the obvious. For sure.
Yeah, there's some mysteries in the universe, but the shape and size of the Earth are not one of them.
That's right. Had some clown post a comment to me on, I think it was maybe on yesterday's video, I'm not sure. But said something about proof of the globe. I said, look, the shape of the Earth is not in question. We don't have to prove facts. That is a fact. We know it to be a fact. On the other hand, if you want to claim the Earth is flat, you need to come up with some extraordinary evidence. Not just it looks flat or I can't feel it moving. That doesn't work. So I think the guy's a little upset with me. Bye. It happens. I really don't care. Hello, Larry.
Hey, Blue.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi, Larry.
Not much since, day before yesterday? Or yesterday. What am I saying?
Yeah. What good derp have you been hearing?
Oh, it's just, Flat Earth is just a bad audio loop. I mean, there's nothing new. I mean, you can hear half of them flipping through the pages on their scripts.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially, satellites are fake. Ice wall is real. Gravity is fake. Dome is real. You've never been to the South Pole. How do you know it's there? You've never been to the ice wall.
Yeah, I don't have to go to those places.
No, we trust the people who have. You know, I've have colleagues that have. We go regularly to the ice every year, and some of my colleagues have been so many times they're sick of going. So it's yeah, they just don't believe the mountain of evidence. And I love your latest graphic. You know, with a square insert evidence here.
Yeah. I'm patiently
You'll be
waiting.
Yeah, I hope you're not. You'll be waiting a while, I think.
I believe you are correct. I don't see anything forthcoming. Now, the worst part is they don't even try. Their proof that the Earth is flat is trying to disprove that it's a sphere somehow. Constantly grasping at straws or coming up with some idiotic argument about geometry.
They don't go and measure anything. You know, you can only know the size and shape of stuff by measuring it. You know, you can only know how big your house is by actually measuring it. You can't just look at it and say, well, it's, you know, this shape. You've got to actually measure it if you want to know for certain.
Yeah, you actually do need to get out there and take some measurements one way or the other. Some of those measurements might actually involve doing a few calculations. That's okay.
That's the analysis part.
Yeah, still measurements.
You know, and they make such idiotic statements like, you know, the rotation of the Earth's never been measured, you know, and it's just so wrong. It's measured all the time, and yet they just bat on about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of measurements don't require calculation. I mean, the reciprocal zenith angle, why aren't they the same looking up from A to B and B to A? Why are they not the same or complementary? I mean, no calculation, just inspect the two numbers.
Yeah.
Unless you call that.
Yeah, sorry, Larry.
What, am I breaking up?
I thought I cut you off. I didn't mean to.
No, it's like I said, unless you call inspecting the two returned numbers calculation, because you can see they're not the same.
Well, you do actually have to add those two numbers together. And
not even.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. All you have to do is compare them. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the in the example I drew up. I made sure to show the complement angle at the second station. So there's 8805 versus 88, or 8850 versus 8857. Well, where'd those 7 minutes come from?
Yeah.
And then, of course, a bit of math. 7 minutes, 10 miles. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. 'Cause, 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 Yep. Hello, Sean Hawkins.
Good morning. It's 1:35 and I just got out of bed. I have no idea.
You are a man of leisure, Sean.
I feel tired all the time. Messed up. Anyway.
Well, I decided to have a little stream tonight for no good reason other than just to sit around and talk amongst ourselves. Or yell at a flat earther if they want to come in here. No, we won't yell at them. We'll treat them nice.
I was on Terry's live stream a couple days ago, and Bandsaw Bandit came on.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody watched that, but pretty humorous. He was making claims, and we quashed that. I called him a liar, and he said I called him disgusting, evil things. But he was. I mean, he said that some salesman or some guy from a gyro compass store told him that the gyro compass needed pointing and calibrating every time you turn the thing on. And I called him out on it. He came on the show or on the panel, and everyone else called him out on it too. Explained to him just how wrong he was. Did it a lot nicer than I did, but you know.
Well, I prefer to believe that Bandy just didn't. The guy probably didn't understand the question Bandy was asking.
Yeah.
And Bandsaw didn't understand the response that he got. That's what I think.
Well, he was probably asking about. There was it seemed like there was a disconnect between what a gyro compass is and a gyroscopic indicator or whatever, something that actually uses magnetism but uses a gyro to keep it stable.
Yeah, you have gyro stabilized magnetic compasses.
And that's what he was thinking about, but he was speaking as an authority based on what this guy told him on the gyro compass. And he's just wrong.
Well, we hear that sort of stuff out of these guys all the time, constantly.
Oh yeah.
The other day, I got into it with Witsit because he made the claim that YouTube was censoring him, and that you can't go on YouTube and search for his videos. It won't show you any of his videos, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
I pulled up 3 of them in a row. All you got to do is type the exact title of the video, and Witsit gets it.
Yep.
And they come right up first thing, no problem. Now, fair dues. If you only type the title of the video in, you probably won't see Witsit. But his titles are generally so indescript. There'll be 1 word or 2 words, and you'll get you might have to go through 20,000 videos before you ever get to his. So what he's telling is a half truth.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm still waiting to get him on a show where I can see him back up his claim that you can zoom the sun back in after his sets. He's made that, him and his wife.
Yeah,
aren't they a cute couple?
And if in the search, if you just search for Witsit Gets It, you'll get all the debunks. You won't get his content. You get everybody jumping on his content.
Yeah, exactly. But the very first thing that will come up is his channel. You will get his channel.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
It's easy to find. Just type in Wits It Gets It. And the first thing that at the top of the list is his actual channel. So you can go there.
Well,
and,
I guess he figures since viewership has dropped, it must be due to censorship. What else could it be?
Well, I got a tip too. If you put the words flat earth in any part of the description of your video, every time you're going to get that little disclaimer that pops up from YouTube. That triggers it. It took me a while to figure that out. I don't know why it took a while. Guess I'm not that swift or something, but at any rate, I started wondering one day why that's coming up on my videos. And I went back and looked, and every time I put those words either in the title or in any place in the description, YouTube, it triggers the algorithm in YouTube. and they stick the little thing up. Is that censorship? No, I don't think so. They're not censoring me. They're just telling the rest of the world that what they're about to watch is bullshit. Or maybe bullshit. Yeah, potentially. It doesn't have a way of making a distinction between a debunk and a, full-blown the earth is flat, whoopee, look at me video.
Yeah, so you got to adopt only the not globe people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try an experiment and use that phrase instead of flat earth, globe denier, or something like that. See if that triggers it.
I suppose it also depends how agile their algorithms are, whether they sort of learn as they go along, and I suppose people add stuff to them.
Yeah, they have a little bit of an AI thing happening, like when they were having a problem with COVID once, people started misspelling COVID, but you could still tell.
There's a little bit of machine learning going on in there.
Yeah.
My question to flat earthers has always been, they say that everyone's indoctrinated in school, that they're all taught the wrong information. But at what point, once you get out of school, do you have to go to an unindoctrination center and clear yourself of all that bad information and learn all the good information? How come all this indoctrination that we get, the principles and the knowledge and the information works in real life? We don't have to change our thinking. It matches reality. I can't explain.
Anybody quoting Ken Wheeler as an authority, they're indoctrinated.
Yeah. At the very least. Yeah.
How Ken Wheeler has come up so as often as he does as being the wizard of information.
He's what's the word? Oh shoot, I can't remember the word. Highly appealing, influential, kind of like what ministers are.
No, he's charismatic. He's not charismatic. He's a buffoon.
Well, he's charismatic in the way that professional wrestlers are charismatic. He impresses stupid people.
We got SC Montreal out in the chat, wants to know if we ever agreed with Bandy that level is horizontal. Tell you what, I'll let you take that one, B-Ball.
No.
Well, yeah, at one point. Yeah, that's it.
Well, and what they think it's like some sort of contract law than the words. I said, context matters. Flat horizontal level pool table, sure. Level in a large area like a multi-county, storm drainage system, constant elevation. Yeah, it matters. Scale matters. Size matters. Context matters.
Exactly.
Remember, you're talking to somebody who couldn't figure out why he couldn't see the moon through a solar filter.
There's a new building that COSI, the Columbus, Ohio Center for or something Science and Industry. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and it used to be downtown, and then you moved it across the river. And the building they moved it into had a gradual curve to the wall, and you couldn't tell close up that it was curved hardly. I mean, you could it was noticeable, but it was so gradual. But if you went far away from it, you could tell it was curved. And it's like that. It's the context.
At Greater Sapien was in a conference room that had a very shallow curve in a wall, and so he glued a couple of dice onto it and showed, just like what somebody might be doing on a kitchen table that never works, but on this very long radius shallow curve on in a conference room. Yes, exactly. And another guy there was this art project that had a portion of a sphere, and so he taped a bunch of playing cards on it, and when he was up close, everything looked flat, and as he started to zoom out and back away, there you go. Where did half the playing card go?
Yeah.
And when somebody levels up a pool table, I don't see him opening a window so you can see the horizon.
I've noticed that. I've noticed the same thing. You really don't need the horizon. It's a little helpful if you've got a level.
Nobody uses the horizon for anything with a single exception of the marine sextant. Then that's called...
That's a fact.
Exactly.
If you could avoid using a marine sextant, you're much better off.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
I mean, there's no purpose, no reason, and no one does it. No one measures the distance to the horizon. It's idiotic.
With
Yeah.
Artificial horizon. Artificial horizon is not a compromise in accuracy. You're so much more stable and stationary. It's better.
I triggered Bob a little bit one time. He was talking about the artificial horizon. I said, "Yeah, but I typed into the comments, but how do you know how far away to put the artificial horizon? How far do you put it away from you to make it the horizon?"
I hope he slapped you.
I was
I
playing
would
Flat
have.
Earth. I was just playing Flat Earther for a bit. Even with I believe even with a artificial horizon, there's still some calculation you have to do with it.
You talking about in an airplane?
No,
on ground, you still have to.
No. You have a very, very minor refraction which can be ignored, because if you're looking up at the sky at 35, 40, 50 degrees, the refraction is nothing. The only other thing is your reading is double. So you just have to divide it by 2. So I don't call that a calculation.
Well, now I read about it, and I've got this like home course study on learning how to do celestial navigation with a sextant, but I haven't gotten into it yet. And it mentions something. It's not the doubling or not the dividing by 2 of your reading. It's it's I don't know. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I'm
Well,
trying
the other,
I'm trying to remember it from memory, and my memory's fucked up. So
what you're grasping for might be the semi-diameter, but with the modern mirrors that are half silvered, you can lay the sun right on top of the sun full disk and not have any semi-diameter. But semi-diameter is, you're always involved in the marine section. You're bringing the edge of the sun to the horizon. You still got a semi-diameter.
yeah. I'm not sure what it was. It I don't know. I may have even read it wrong. Like I said, I haven't gotten into it yet, so I know how to take a reading. I just don't know what to do with that reading after that. I mean, I don't know. I don't quite understand. I can't even remember the terminology to use to explain what I don't understand. Never mind.
Well, the point is, with an artificial horizon, you don't have to do dip corrections and all that.
Maybe it was maybe I'm thinking of the bubble sextant.
Same thing with the bubble sextant. You don't do any dip correction.
You do have to do a height correction, though, right?
Nope.
No? Okay. Never mind.
Nope. No, that's already taken care of, taken into account.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're shooting the horizon, you definitely got to take the dip correction, which has got several things. It's got refraction built into it, plus it's got your eye height above the surface of the water.
I do know. Oh, sorry.
Those two components.
I do know, like with Alberuni, he didn't have to adjust for refraction when looking down at the horizon, because above 25 degrees, it's irrelevant. You don't have to correct for refraction over 25 degrees in any situation.
No, that's incorrect, because from where the fact that he was on a mountain, but he was looking down to the horizon, yeah, but absolutely his radius returned would have been a refracted radius, that old 7/6.
Yeah.
But since he was on that's all he had, and that's not a bad way to start.
Okay, it's looking up at 25 degrees, not down. Right?
Well, even looking up, you've got some refraction, but it's very minor.
Sun.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I got mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah, the Alberuni method really is not a good way to try to measure the
measurement with a very shallow minor dip angle.
He would not have been aware of refraction, would he, at that time he was doing those measurements?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Without a doubt, he would have. The best scenario is he would have come up with the refracted radius, which is like 4,600 miles, and that's perfectly okay because that's what we measure today, refracted. As was I was talking about that just the other day with the main surveyor. His data, he got 7.08 over 6R, and he was looking at the ocean horizon from a mountain, just like Alberuni. So yeah, he would have been Alberuni, unaware of refraction, but he got a radius that we can reproduce today. Now Alberuni's, what his units were, the exact documentation. What survives is his algorithm, and the fact that even if it's nearly an attributed story, it's still a 1,000-year-old story, which is true today.
Yeah, you can still do it today. not the best way, for sure. It's a very sloppy, relatively inaccurate way of measuring radius, but
it's the way the history of.
But back then they were trying to confirm that there is a radius. So
right,
he got high marks.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing I'm not cloudy on that the tables actually explain is that at low temperature and low pressure, you don't compensate for refraction. That's right in the tables for refraction. When you've got those diagonal lines on the table, and you got the temperature and the pressure on the side and the bottom, and if it's like 0 degrees Celsius and regular atmospheric pressure, you don't have to compensate for refraction.
Incorrect. At 0 degrees centigrade and 2992 pressure, you have a high density, and you're looking for atmospheric density. Now, you may have a table which is zeroed out, and the values are offset.
Yeah, you're roboting a little bit, Larry.
Yeah, half of what he's saying is we're not hearing half of what he's saying, unless he's giving really, really long pauses between words. And I don't think he is. Let me get my
temperature.
Reboot the robot.
Yeah, you're still roboting, Larry.
I've got my book now. Hold on. I've got the 2022 Nautical Almanac. And on page A4, altitude correction tables and additional corrections. Got the temperature in Celsius at the bottom, and the side pressure in inches. And it gives you your correction for refraction. And in certain cases, like, what is it? Yeah, in certain situations, there is no correction for refraction. I mean, that's the first page in the almanac. Sorry, second page. The back of the second page, just before the title page.
I think we might be talking about two different things here. You've got a table of dip angle corrections, do you not?
Yeah, later on in the book. But this is Echo living room lights on. Additional refraction corrections for non-standard conditions.
Yeah.
You got temperature and Fahrenheit. It's got temperature in Fahrenheit on the top, and on the bottom it's temperature in Celsius. That's why it's the diagonal lines.
Yeah, I got you.
Then you've got pressure in millibars on the left and pressure in inches on the right. And then you've got a table labeled A through P, all the columns, and then you've got the approximate altitude. So you're reading the relationship between pressure and temperature and you're bringing that down to what your altitude is, and it gives you your correction.
Yeah, you're talking about refraction of a celestial body up in the sky somewhere. That's what that correction is. What Larry's talking about, what Larry's been talking about, is correction for the horizon.
Oh, okay.
That's completely different. That's all inclusive in the dip angle correction.
Okay.
Dip angle is correcting for both your eye height as well as standard refraction. That's the way that table is set up.
Yep.
It's all inclusive. You don't have to do two separate things. You don't have to correct for eye height and then correct for refraction at the horizon. It's all built in. And it's just based on standard refraction because there's nothing else to base it on, really. You don't know. There's no way to really determine it at the horizon. You don't have the temperature and pressure information through the optical corridor. So, the best you can do is just let it assume you're doing all your work on a standard day. And if you're doing it on a non-standard day, your fix is going to be off a little bit, but it won't be off a lot.
Yeah. SC Montreal says they've convinced you that you're traveling 1.5 million miles an hour on a ball surrounded with water and gas. No, that's what you think, SC. That's about the dumbest fucking thing I've heard all day. Actually, it is the dumbest thing I've heard all day because I just got up.
Well, I know the frame of reference that I'm in at the moment, and I'm traveling at 0 miles an hour.
Yep.
I'm not moving at all. The rest of the universe may be whizzing around, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
That's a standard problem that flat earthers have. They can't comprehend reference frames. Ever.
Yep.
Ever. They can't get it. They can't square the idea in their head that speed is relative. Just saying a number doesn't tell you a damn thing.
Even orientation is relative. I'm upright. People in Australia are upright. Nobody's upside down to me. But if someone standing on the moon, we're able to see it, yeah, it's different.
Holy moly. I don't
Whoa.
know if you guys can see the chat or not, but this is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I just got a super chat from Wallace Bowe for $100. $100 US. My God, Wallace.
Wow.
I don't know what to say. This is incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Says, hey, Blue, don't know if you saw this, but you passed 1 million views. Actually, 1,238 right now. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it, Wallace. I actually did a little live stream there a week or two ago. I didn't know it was happening either, but YouTube was kind enough to send me an email saying that had happened. I was astounded, honestly, and really feeling proud of myself, so I decided to go check Sideman Dan, and then I wasn't feeling so great anymore.
Where do you see how many views your channel has gotten? How do you look that up?
Look in the studio and look at I think it's I can't think of the word.
You go on studio, you go to
analytics.
You go to the page that's got the number of views for whatever period, and you go and you click the one that says since I started the channel.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
I'm probably not even close.
Wallace, I'm blown away. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was hella cool.
Wallace says
it takes a lot to
under about, and I think you're right. I think if you go to that tab on your on your YouTube page, the About page. I think it may tell you how many views you've had too, but I didn't. I wasn't even paying any attention to it.
That analytics? That
Yeah, on the analytics page, if you click on the advanced mode, you can then choose lifetime, and it will tell you that it will tell me that I've had 34.9 thousand views, 16,000 watch hours, and I have 358 subscribers.
I'll have to play with that a little bit.
And that's from 2011 on my channel.
I guess you can't see all that stuff on the mobile app.
No, I think you have to be on desktop for that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow. I'm blown away, Wallace.
I got 3 million impressions.
It takes a lot to even just get monetized. You have to get 4,000 watch hours. That takes a lot.
Yeah. That's not that easy to come up with.
I have 366,559 views.
I once upon a time I managed to end up getting 4,000 watch hours in 3 weeks, but I only had 300 subscribers.
Oh yeah, because you do a lot of live streams. That's why.
Yeah, I was live streaming every day back then and picking up Jose's leftovers, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you get a lot of watch hours, live streams.
Yeah, Wallace says, I still don't know how to use Discord, or I would try to join. It's not hard, Wallace. Just Google
Maybe you
Discord.
should post them a link, Blue.
Oh, okay.
It takes a small learning curve, I guess. I mean, when I didn't understand Discord either.
I'm still not sure I understand it. I use it, but
There's, like, I know how to the normal stuff, but like when it comes to like having a chat, when you have a server and like all the different stuff that goes into having a server, and like creating bots and stuff like that, like I have no clue.
Well, you don't have to create the bots.
No, you don't have to. But I mean, go ahead.
No, I haven't created any. I know how to do it. I just haven't done any.
Yeah, I've got a couple of bots on my server, but they're the sort that you can just go install bot, and it gives you the options for what you want it to do, and you just click on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of cool things you can do with them.
Hey, shout out to John Rapp for $2 Australian. Wallace Bow, I bow to you, he says. Good on you, mate. Yeah. I keep saying Bo. I guess that's correct. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know how to pronounce it. You never know.
I would, as a Brit, I would say bow.
Okay. It may well be Wallace Bow.
Of course,
and if I'm saying it wrong, Wallace, you need to correct me.
It depends on how you pronounce it, because it could be bow.
Yeah.
Sorry, bow, as in, when you bow on a stage.
Yep.
It could also be bow, like a archery bow.
Yeah, exactly. Wallace says, if you look closely at my avatar, you can see me in a tuxedo taking the cover off my Ferrari. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at his YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Is that actually his Ferrari?
I would believe that would be his Ferrari. Since he said my Ferrari. Hey, John Rapp for another Australian $2. SE Montreal, I bow to you, facing away. I think we have the picture. What is this now?
I was finally able to have a small discussion with Witsit
How did that
regarding
go?
the Southern Hemisphere flights. Of course, he won't admit that he was wrong. He'll never admit he was wrong.
No. No, he's they seem to have an aversion to owning up to a mistake. I don't know why. I make mistakes all the time. When I make one, I admit it. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
The problem is they're
claiming-
nearly always wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess they would spend a lot of time admitting things, wouldn't they?
He's so very clearly admit or said that they didn't exist, or he couldn't figure out how to filter the nonstop flights from the flights that had stopped on them. And I was like, well, that's what I should have said. I should have said, well, you just forgot to filter it. That's all. It's an honest mistake, right?
Yeah.
But no, he won't admit that he was wrong when he was trying to find them. And then Brian comes in and tries a white knight for him. That was funny. I have it all recorded. I'll probably clip it out and post it.
When I hear any of them attribute a layover time to the flight time, you're dealing with an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, those sites will give you total travel time, not flight time.
And yeah, if you're coming out of Australia and trying to get to Santiago and you're on Emirates, you gotta land in Emirates. It's law. It's if you want to go on a Monday, but Qantas only flies on Fridays, you're gonna go out of your way.
Yeah. The thing is, and then Brian was trying to say that he kept trying to bring up some flight from I don't know, some soccer game that was going on a while ago, and they routed all the flights to LA or something. He kept wanting to go to that, but I'm like, no, let's focus on these specific flights. No, but there's these other flights that they had to go all the way up here to LA. Why did they? I'm like, no, we don't care about those, dude. I don't care.
Hey, Blue. According to SE Montreal, you just tolerate me and you feel sorry for me. I appreciate you tolerating me.
Oh, God.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Humoring me.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that, honestly. Yeah, see, I'll be happy to tolerate you, too. Why don't you jump on in here? You're allowed. I believe I believe you've got the correct credentials. But you're out there in YouTube.
But Blue.
What?
How do you know that we're not traveling at 1,000,000 miles an hour?
I like listening to you squirm. You cannot answer questions.
Jesus. I mean, I just posted that. How is he not required by the clown code to not wear a red nose and floppy shoes all the time?
Now, let's play nice, okay? Well, okay, we don't really have to play nice, but probably better if we do. SC's not in
I mean,
here
we're
to
talking about.
defend himself. So,
Oh, he's here. He's here. He's in the chat. So
well, he's in the
technically,
chat.
he's here.
Yeah.
I mean, how do flat earthers not just walk into walls all day? I mean,
Do you know that they don't?
good point. Good point.
Where's your evidence? I wasn't there. You weren't there. How do you know they don't walk into walls? Yeah, I'm trying to find.
I spent a lot of time also looking at back when what's his name, Greater Sapien took that flight too.
Yeah.
And also, if you Google the Johannesburg to Sydney flight, there's several videos on YouTube where people are filming themselves taking this flight.
Well, they're all lying to you.
Yeah, they have to be lying, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. Whenever you corner them, well, not really corner them, but whenever you get to a point where there's no other way out, that's when they have to go to, well, either it just has to be fake. Someone has to be doing something dishonest.
Well,
what do they think is in the most of the southern hemisphere is ocean, and there's not that many places to fly to and from. There's Australia, us here in New Zealand, South America, and Southern Africa, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I'd imagine it's a huge percentage is water.
Yeah. See, what I got whipped on was you use the map. The Gleason map to show that there's certain flights that make more sense on the Gleason map. But then when I use it for these specific flights, this is when, oh no, we don't use that map. We don't, I don't subscribe to that map. Only for the Southern Hemisphere flights, the ones we're specifically talking about, is when they don't want to use the map.
Well, you could use a southern polar centered AE map.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yeah.
The Southern Hemisphere guys would have preferred that.
Yeah, an AE projection was not invented by Gleason. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner of the Gleason map, it says it's a longitude time calculator. And yeah, if you're working in a control tower, you have an AE map centered on you. So yeah, you can move the map wherever you want. Someone asked me about plotting. I guess they had a Melbourne to London nonstop, and they said you can't even plot that on an AE map. I said, watch me. So I laid out the flight line, and you just center the AE map mid-flight, and then you get this nice, perfect little great circle going between the two, and it's like, see, AE is a tool, and you can do whatever you want with it. It doesn't have to be the Gleason. And yeah, I'm very surprised, that Australia still succumbs to the Northern Hemisphere, primacy.
Yeah. Well, the thing that marginally annoys me is, even though I am an aviation photographer at heart, when I'm doing sunrise photos around here, especially in the summer, it can be really annoying that the Great Circle from Dubai over to sort of North America, New York, Chicago, that sort of places, runs about 20 miles offshore, and I'm like 4 miles from the coast. So lots and lots and lots of bloody contrails.
Hey, shout out to Anamorphic Mind for $5. He says, you can ignore my son, SE Montreal. He's just mad that I refused to make him Hot Pockets for lunch, and now he won't leave the basement. Thanks, Anamorphic Mind. I appreciate it. Chris 77, obviously a little new to the channel because he wasn't blue, but I made him blue. He's a blue guy now. Okay. Says, after listening to over 200 complete Jose J.G. Boom shows, I took over a year off from listening to anything Flat Earth. Did I miss any Flat Earth proof or still none? Have a look at the picture on the screen, Chris. Nope, you didn't miss a thing. Still nothing. And I predict it's going to remain that way for quite a while into the future.
Hey, Blue, what do you know about taking a compass on an airplane? What acceleration does the compass on airplanes?
Well, airplanes, of course, have compasses, magnetic compasses in them. I don't know if the modern, I'm not sure if you're going to go up in the front end of a 747 and find one, but I'm not sure what you're asking either. Taking a compass on board an aircraft, you like any other object that's got metal in it that might be ferrous. You have to be a little careful about where you position that thing.
Just because Brian was going on about how someone took a compass in one of these southern hemisphere flights and it showed the wrong direction or something like that. And then I had pulled up some stuff about how you get compass error when flying in airplanes.
Well, yeah.
The
acceleration. I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, when an airplane is turning, it does. The compass does strange things. I'm not going to bother to try to explain all of the stuff. You don't try to read a magnetic compass while you're in a turn, and you also don't try to read it when you're climbing or descending. If you can avoid it, you need to be in stable, level flight, so to speak. But even that you are in level unaccelerated flight, you still have to account for declination, and that can make an error of 20 degrees or more with a magnetic compass.
And that's why in small airplanes, you have the very low-level gyro called the DG, the directional gyro. Yeah, they don't hold headings real well, but I've always seen people line it up with mag, then execute the turn, and if you're trying to come around to a heading, you read the DG for the heading to terminate your turn.
Yeah, don't try reading the compass.
So you definitely have some sort of error in compasses when you're flying. If you're just using a regular handheld compass.
Yeah. You could quickly fool yourself.
But if you're,
but on
a jet air.
Go ahead, Larry.
But when you're on a jet airplane flying in cruise, you should have no accelerations to worry about.
Right. Yeah, your error at that point becomes magnetic declination.
Right.
And airframe.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever influence that you might have because there's a piece of steel or something, close by that can affect it. That sort of thing.
So just being inside the airplane itself is going to affect, the metal frame around
it could.
The compass.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a commercial aircraft, they use a fluxgate compass, and they go to a lot of trouble to calibrate out some of those variations. One of my colleagues is involved in calibration of aircraft compasses, and it's a very involved process. They have a particular place on the airport.
You got a compass
not on the runway, on the threshold where they put the aircraft to swing the compasses. It's not just done anywhere on the airport. There's specific spot that's dedicated for swinging magnetic compasses in aircraft.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got a compass rose somewhere out there. If there's a maintenance facility, they'll have that on the runway or the tarmac someplace.
And it's
actually
calibrated and checked. It's not just put there and left. You know, every I think 6 or 12 months they've got to go back and recalibrate that pad to make sure that, you know, there's not been wiring changes. It's amazing what makes differences. They've got to be really careful about, you know, any underground wiring or anything like that. It can seriously screw it up.
Well, and
Right.
magnetic north is moving all the time. When I first moved to Knoxville, we were right on the agonic line, so there was no magnetic correction here, no magnetic declination, zero. And now that agonic line has moved all the way over to the past the west side of the state. So now we do have a magnetic declination here of 2 or 3 degrees, I think. I forgot what it is now. And when you're doing a flight plan, you have to take that into account all through the flight plan. And use that correction for declination to derive what your magnetic heading ought to be. Otherwise, you're going to be all out of whack.
Right. So in summary, you're basically not going to get an accurate reading from a compass sitting in coach or in
No,
the
you're not.
economy trying to make some sort of reading from a handheld compass.
Well, yeah.
Right.
The magnetic compass will get you to the right state. Radio navigation will get you in the right city. GPS will put you on the runway.
That's the thing too, is these bluffs forget is there's this whole progression of you know, modernization of navigation methods. You know, we're not stuck with what they had 200 years ago. Things have progressed on, and you know, ADSB and all this stuff. It's a progression. It just keeps flowing. It doesn't. You know, we're not stuck with what we had 50 years ago. It's, you keep adapting to the new technology as it comes along and as it's accepted into use.
Yep. Yeah, I've been able to watch it change a lot in my lifetime. Yeah, when I started flying, we were still flying with Loran. And
It doesn't even exist now, does it?
I guess it still exists. I'm not sure. Haven't seen a Loran receiver, though, in many a moon. It was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it was certainly good enough for the RAF to be able to get bombers to targets across Western Europe in 1942.
Oh yeah.
When it wasn't known as Loran, when it was known as G.
Hey, Sean, you still here?
He's still here. I don't know if he heard you. Hey, wake up, Sean. He stepped away from his mic for a minute, I guess.
I wanted to ask him because I saw the return of our good friend Travis, and I've kind of been here and there. I've kind of been poking him with, you know, he'll say something and I'll say, well, I'm sorry, hyperphysics didn't agree with you, but I'm not sure if he ever really responded to him. And I know Sean had posted a video, but I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing.
Got to laugh for a second at Genesis in the chat. He said, when SC Montreal moves over to Bev, the mean IQ level increases both here and there. I think.
Oh, SC Montreal.
But speaking of Genesis, yeah, what you're talking about with, people being unwilling to, on that side of the fence, being so unwilling to admit they're wrong. Bev literally stood Genesis down one day, complaining bitterly, or not complaining, but stating emphatically that a sextant could only measure up to 60 degrees. And when we caught him red-handed, I made a video showing him why he's wrong, because you're looking through a freaking mirror, you idiot, and that doubles the reading. So yes, the sextant can read up to 120, not 60. When confronted with that, to this day, Bev won't admit that he made a mistake. Just refuses.
There's probably not many flirts at all that admit they've made mistakes.
Yeah,
Do they still even talking about the sextant? Is that still an argument?
I don't know.
I feel like they've beaten that to absolute death.
Yeah. I'd like to say hello to Rob Barton. Hello, Rob.
Blue.
How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it seemed to be the Oakley crowd that was hammering away on the sextant.
Yeah, they're just going to move the goalposts as soon as it doesn't suit them. Goalposts have been relocated, as you say, Blue.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to have to bid you good day. It's time I got on and got some stuff done. It's otherwise my day is going to disappear. Been very nice chatting to everyone.
Yeah, it's always good to have you in here, man. Thanks for coming.
It's my weekend now, so I better get on and get some stuff done.
Yeah, well,
The sun is up, and it looks like it's going to be a nice day. It blew last night, but it looks lovely today.
Well, it's nice
Go
to
and
know.
enjoy a nice winter day.
Nice to know how things are going to be in the future.
Yes, it is. Yep. We'll forecast some sun for you tomorrow, Blue, and others.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Give Alan some sun too. He needs some sun.
Yeah, I'll forecast that the sun will rise. It probably just about hasn't set with you, Alan, or it's still.
It's it's setting at 9:40 BST ish at the minute, and it's rising at about 04:30 BST in the mornings, and Thursday morning, yeah, I was out shooting a time lapse in my local churchyard of the medieval church we've got here. I started the camera about 40 minutes before the sun came over the horizon.
Anyone hear me?
Yeah, you're live.
Yes, guys.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I had Windows do an update and my internet dropped out all at the same time. And I went to get back on Discord on my phone, and my mic wouldn't work for some reason, but now it does.
Hey, it's your lucky day.
I hate Windows 10.
Oh yeah, Sean, I was asking you a question, but you weren't here. Did you ever get a response from Travis?
Oh no, he blocked me on his email. And yeah, stop replying to everything. He's blocked every account I have, every sock account I have. So yeah, he's pretty salty.
I saw you had posted a video, but I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. Was that where someone had asked him about it?
Yeah, it was a live on, I think, 24/7 Flat Earth Discord or Earth Awakenings, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was probably Geo's.
And they were talking about that hyperphysics thing and the website, and he said, "Well, I had an article on there until Sean Hawkins had it taken down."
What did he say about it though? Like
Nothing. He hadn't said anything about it.
Yeah. He would come in and I would he had posted a few things, and I remember I told you that I was like poking him with it. I would say, oh, too bad hyperphysics didn't agree with you.
Yep, and they didn't.
He would never reply.
And it's not the hyperphysics website that disagrees with him. It's the entire Department of Physics that disagrees with him, because that's who decided that that thing needed to be taken down. They had a meeting specifically for him, and peer reviewed his paper and took it down.
You know, it would be great to get like an audio clip or video of them having that meeting, talking specifically about what he did. That would be great. That would be great.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall on that.
Oh man. And he's still going on about it, thinking he's right.
Yeah, well, he said his name's in blue. There's a link to his name, and all the link is just a link to his photos, crediting him for his photos. That's it. It doesn't say that his photos are relevant or anything.
Well, you know, if you're a fly on the wall, that meeting, it was going to be a very short meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I read through what was posted there, and to me, it didn't say a damn thing. It had no, it served no purpose, drew no conclusions, offered no explanations. It just essentially said, "Hey, look, I took this picture. Wow, it looks funny."
And I remember when he had that interview with that guy, and the guy had alluded to, you know, something about the curvature of the Earth, and then he said, yeah, we'll get back to that. And then
never did he?
Never got back to it. And I remember messaging him about it, and I was like, why is it you didn't, you know, mention to the guy, like, hey, by the way, I believe the Earth is flat.
Yep, he didn't.
He never mentioned.
Well, he knows when he starts that, he's done.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Like, as soon as you mention something like that, and you know, I guess you'd want to keep something like that hidden or a secret.
Yep, he was misrepresenting himself and his position, because he wasn't doing it from his flat earther studio with the album covers and all the flat earth shit on the wall behind him. He was doing it in his den or his study with the books and stuff on the wall, and nothing incriminating.
Well, we're the crazy people that sit and argue with these clowns.
That's true.
Normal people hear this, the Earth is flat, out of somebody, and all they do is smile, wish them a nice day, and delete their number from the telephone and block it.
Yeah. It's like
that would be the more appropriate response. In fact, we could probably all learn something from normal, reasonably intelligent. No, you don't even have to be reasonably intelligent. Just normal people that don't think the damn Earth's flat. That's
hearing voices in your head doesn't make you insane. Arguing with those voices does. So yeah. And I like
quite true.
I like to tell flat earthers, you know, minds are like parachutes. Just because you've lost yours doesn't mean you can borrow mine.
There was, I had a very short conversation, and he was a school teacher, but for like first and second graders or kindergartens or something.
Auto level and
he made some joke, the Earth isn't flat and all that. But he said, but I didn't know planes had to continually dip their nose. And I said, oh my God, a plane has to dip their nose about as much as a container ship has to. You don't see a container ship dipping its nose, do you?
No. You don't see airplanes doing it either.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised that he took that as new information. I didn't know they had to do that. And, oh my God!
And he makes ridiculous statements, like he shows a mirage of a ship out on the water, and he says, "This ship is not hull down." What the hell does that mean? Of course, that ship is hull down, or else it'd be capsized in the bottom of the ocean. He's not good at words.
Is this Travis you're talking about?
Yes.
He used to always get. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, we all know what phrase to use when my daughter comes home and catches me trying to explain shit to Travis, don't we?
I had a funny one where somebody was saying, okay, if I'm at the docks, right, and there's a sailboat, it's a big sailboat, and the mast is 60 feet high. Okay, now if I back up 3 miles, how high is the mast? And I said, 60 feet.
Oh, yep.
But now the mass is lower than when it was before. The height of the mass hasn't changed, but its relative distance from the horizon has gone lower into the horizon, below the horizon.
Well, that's because the horizon somehow knows to squish and smish and gaffargle the light that comes from it. We all know that. We've learned that from Lemon.
Lemon, my favorite flat earther.
From the words of Lurch.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny when he said, well, how high is it if I'm 3 miles away? And I said, nothing changed. It's still 60 feet high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't ask about an angle to it. He said, how high is it? Well, 60 feet.
You know, I always used to trigger Travis when I would ask him, because he would show his pictures, you know, showing mirages and mirroring and all that stuff. You know, it's like, oh, you know, things don't jump below the horizon; they go into the horizon. They, you know, the mirage, it gets swallowed up by the mirage. But then I would always ask him, well, what happens when there is no mirage? When we still see obstruction? And that would just piss him off and trigger him.
Yeah, you ask Travis, what if there isn't a mirage? And he shows you more pictures of mirages.
Right.
Well, what about these pictures? Look at this. Okay. Do you think if you walk into a house of mirrors at the carnival, that you actually look, that you're actually a foot tall, and then walk to the next one and you're tall and skinny? No. Things aren't what they look like they are a lot of times.
Right. Like that he had a debate with Conspiracy Cats, and he was going on about mirages and stuff, and then Conspiracy Cats kept going back to the one picture when there was no mirage.
Yeah.
And the boat was like, you can only see the sails on the boat. That was a good one.
Yeah, he just can't get it through his head that his photographs do not represent reality.
Yeah. Well, you get these beautiful, pristine days like with the infamous black swan. On the next day or the day after, where that horizon is just crystal clear and blocking half of that distant oil rig. And you say, okay, please tell me on a flat earth how the horizon can ever appear in front of any distant object. How can that happen? And I think it was about at that point when I made up that little modus tollens that they started with this horizon gobbling up light for some reason.
It's because they believe that a perfectly flat surface will hide things.
Yeah.
From the bottom up.
And even Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser and everyone on that show admits that the Earth has a radius because the Black Swan made the original radius bigger. But since it made it bigger, then the original radius can't be correct because it can change. And my question to them is, well, since when does the size of a planet change with the weather? They can't answer it.
Well, of course not. Of course not. But they've been trying the same trick that they played with the so-called Black Swan. They're trying that same stunt with sextants. Notice the similarities.
Yeah,
it's a constant, everyday. 10th man has bought himself a new book on celestial navigation, failed to read it, and completely misrepresents what it says.
Yeah,
but exactly the same pattern of behavior that they exhibited with Black Swan.
Yeah, their thing with that is 10th man has convinced them that the height correction is lowering the observation point to the water and not the other way around, not lowering the observation point to the horizon. So they think that the surface of the Earth has to be flat because you need a horizontal plane and you bring your point of observation down from the deck to the surface of the water. That's just wrong. And when he and 10th man used to show give his presentations, and he shows these illustrations. Well, that show a spherical Earth, and the math in relation to that. And then when that was pointed out to him, he started saying, "Well, this picture will show you that the Earth's curved, but this is wrong." He outright says the illustration in the nautical almanac or in all nautical navigation books, they're wrong. He's right, but the illustrations are wrong.
It has to be wrong. It has to be.
Well, they have no choice.
Yeah.
They can't agree with any of that without admitting that they're wrong about everything.
Exactly. I mean, just the pamphlet you get with the sextant shows a spherical Earth.
Of course.
That's pretty much the only way to actually be a true flat earther, is to believe that everything is wrong or a lie or fake. It's the only way to be a true flat earther.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything is a lie. I mean, that's the first step to indoctrination and cult belief is everything you've been taught is a lie, but I know the truth.
Yeah, you know what amazes me, and this part has always amazed me, the willingness with which these guys, and I'm not talking about young people, okay, I can understand an 18-year-old with his head up his ass, but you get these people that are, in their 40s or their 50s that just came around to this flat earth thing a few years ago that are so freely willing to say, you know what, I was so frigging stupid that I allowed myself to be tricked and fooled by these guys for my entire life. What? You mean it took you to the age of 52, Rakia? It took you to the age of 52 to finally figure out that we've been lying to you? You are a true dumbass, sir.
And he figured it out by watching some YouTube videos.
Yeah, right. Well, I can't say that it isn't true. Yeah, it's on the internet. Where'd you hear that? On the internet.
YouTube University.
No, I just find that thought process fascinating. I was too dumb to figure it out, but now I've caught on. And now I'm sure nobody's able to fool me anymore. Really? You were that stupid to begin with, and you think nobody can fool you now? Holy cow.
This supposedly did some tests a few years ago where he couldn't measure drop from horizontal. May or may not have done it the right way, but that test convinced him.
Well, I've talked to him about his test. I have talked to him many times about that test. He did differential leveling. Of course you're going to keep hang on to the same elevation. That's what differential leveling is all about. You're doing what you tried to do. You also just stepped yourself around the curve.
Yeah, the way to do that test is now take a vertical angle across the whole length and compare that to what you got with differential leveling. Without a doubt. Yeah, he did it wrong. And I'd seen some other guy put up, oh, I got $10,000, you can't find curvature. And I got, invert calibrated leveling rods and a geodetic level, and you won't find any curvature. I'm like, no shit.
Really? Yeah, I agree with you. You won't.
I'm looking at Earth Awakening's live stream or Discord, and it's got a picture of Rakia. Got a picture of Rakia with his today's catch. He is as dumb as he sounds. You know that? He looks as dumb as he sounds.
Is that actually him though?
Yeah, it's him in the middle, I think. I've seen someone posted a photograph of him, and yeah, that's him, guy in the middle.
I don't think that's him. Yeah. I think it's him on the right hand side.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't have to look. The other photograph I saw was sort of distorted, but
that's a big fucking fish, though. I mean, yeah, Rakia is, we know who he is, but that is a big fucking fish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, biggest fish I ever caught was a 36-inch channel cat. That thing fought me for a half an hour.
I'm having a look. I don't see it.
Got an award for catching that fish.
It's live stream 1. It's 11 past the hour. Or it's 11 o'clock my time, actually.
I got a Fish Ohio award for catching that channel cat.
I don't know what time that would be on mine, and I don't see it.
If you're in there now, just scroll up a little bit, and you'll see a picture of 3 guys holding a fish.
What kind of fish is that? It's not is it a sea bass?
It's about as big as him.
Yeah, that is a big fish. I'm impressed.
I don't know. Can't tell. I suppose I could share.
I think he's the one. I think he's the one on the right.
I do too. Here, we'll put it up on the screen for a second. So can Somebody tell us what kind of fish that is. I know it's a big one. Hey, there's Waz in our chat. How you doing, Waz? No, this discussion is live, Waz. And you're welcome to join if you wish. Let's see, I'll go back to my channel. And let me make sure Waz has got the credentials. Oh, yeah, he does.
Oh my God, they're talking about free power.
Free power. Yeah, here we go. B-Ball's posted it over here on our server.
I can tell you what sort of fish that is, Blue.
Huh?
That one big ass fish.
Yeah.
That is one big ass fish. You betcha.
Not a mackerel. I don't know.
It looks like a bass, but
no, that's in the ocean.
Yeah. Except they have some big frickin' bass. Or they have some big bass. Have you ever been to Bass Pro Shop in Springfield?
I have.
They have a bass. You've seen that bass tank, haven't you?
Yeah.
Holy crap! That biggest one's as big as a human.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest bass they have at Bass Pro is bigger than that fish.
Of course, we don't have freshwater bass over here. We only have the saltwater variety.
Oh yeah.
And they're not huge, but they are considered to be a very good game fish if you can, especially if you can catch them on really lightweight stuff.
Yeah.
Really lightweight rod and
Bass
line.
is definitely good. It's a good game fish.
But I was just trying to find the photo of the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Do you think the other two guys in the picture think the Earth is flat too?
I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, that is a genuine, for real, big ass fish.
Yeah.
Had says a double bass, maybe. I don't know if that's
I wanna
really
know-
a real fish or not.
I want to know how they're holding it up.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just holding it really close to the camera. It looks big because of perspective.
Looks like the guys on the outside are holding it.
No,
Guy
it
on
looks
the
like
left.
Rocky. It looks like Rakia's holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Arkea's got it by both hands.
Of
Yeah.
course, the guy on the left, you can't see his left hand, so he might be
Yeah.
open out.
How much do you think that thing weighs? What, 80 pounds?
I'd say
At
70
least.
or 80 pounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Looks like it. Maybe more than that. I think the biggest fish I ever caught was a king mackerel. And it was maybe, I don't know, 25 pounds, 20, 25. It was a big damn fish.
I've always wanted to go deep sea fishing for marlin or sailfish, something like that. But yeah, I moved to the West Coast, and
So, I mean, Rakia, if you caught that fish yourself, man, kudos to you.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, you think the Earth is flat? That's a good catch.
yeah,
Yeah, that thing is huge. I used to go deep sea fishing a couple of times a year back in my misspent youth. And we'd go out it was usually just a day trip, go out in the morning, back at night. We go out 35, 40 miles out. And supposedly every time we went, we were fishing for red snapper. And I think every time we went, we never caught a single red snapper. Caught a lot of triggerfish, though. Which are not bad fish, actually. They taste pretty good.
Most fishing that we did when I was younger, living in Ohio, was bluegill, crappie, and bass.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy of mine had a pontoon boat. We'd go out there every weekend. And we'd take, at one point, each one of us had a stringer. And you were only allowed to take a full stringer. You couldn't take any more per person. And we were, after we each filled our stringers, there was 6 people on this boat. We'd have to replace bigger fish with smaller ones. That's how prolific the bluegill were. And we were catching slavers. I mean, 12-inch slavers.
Oh, that's a nice bluegill.
Yeah, we filled 3 freezers up with meat just in one weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got tired of eating fish.
David Lee out in the chat says you got to take off. Have a great weekend. Yeah, you too, David. And Bendy Light says I'd go fishing with Rocky, but I wouldn't let him navigate by sextant. Well, he's already admitted he doesn't know how to, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Just make sure there's another cell phone on board with GPS on it, in case he drops his. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to trust his navigating skills. So there's Alan's ear. We'll show Alan's biggest ever fish. That is an ugly thing. What is that thing?
Common carp.
Ooh.
That's Alan. He's holding a fish.
Yeah, it's a carp.
Oh.
Golden carp.
Ouch. Hello, Was.
Okay.
Shots fired.
So you know how you cook carp, right? Carp on a shingle. Take a redwood shingle or a pine shingle, wooden shingle, and you put the filleted carp on there. You season it, put it on a fire for 25 minutes, throw the carp away, and eat the shingle.
Correct. Actually, I'm quite lucky because that was a special event put on for veterans, and we were basically fishing a fisheries stock lake. So there were lots of decent sized fish that weren't used to being fished for.
Yeah, you know the difference between a carp and an attorney, right?
Mm-mm.
One's a bottom-feeding shit eater, and the other is a fish.
Yeah. Big thing in Missouri is spoonbill.
Yeah.
They fish that around the hydroelectric dams. They've got a lot of guys have boats, like RC boats, a little platform on the back of it. You place your bait on that platform. You sail that boat, or drive that boat to where you want your bait. Give a little tug on the line and drop straight down. They had some big spoonbill. Some of the spoonbill make that fish that Rakia caught look small.
I've seen a catfish or two that rivals that thing Rocky has got.
Oh yeah, there's stories of police scuba divers who do like body salvage.
Yeah.
On the Scioto River, and there's some cops that won't go back down in the water because they seen catfish bigger than them.
Oh yeah. I like fishing for catfish though.
They're fun.
That's my
strong.
It's my kind of fishing. Set out a trot line, go back and sit around the campfire for a while, drinking beer, Go check the trot line every 3 or 4 hours. And if you're lucky, you don't catch anything.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a joke. How do you keep a Baptist from drinking all your beer on a fishing trip?
Don't know.
Invite 2 Baptists.
All righty.
That's a good one.
How you been, Waz?
Good, mate. I don't have any fishing stories. I'm not a fisherman.
Hell, I'm not either.
I've probably held a fishing rod about 3 or 4 times in my life. And a couple of those times I was just putting it away somewhere.
Yeah, I did a little bit of fishing when I was a youngster, but not much. Some of these guys, though, wow, I'm telling you, they're there every weekend.
Did everyone see the latest installment from Flat Derp?
Nope.
I haven't really seen most of some of the recent videos.
It was a joke. Said a guy said, I dated a girl who had a twin once. They said, how could you tell them apart? I said, well, Julie painted her nails purple and Bob had a cock.
What?
That's awful.
Oh, God.
Don't tell another one of those. I'll mute you.
So hilarious.
Hey, shout out to Jose JG in the chat. Hop in if you want to, Jose. We're not going to be on here much longer. Yeah, he seems to be. He says Sean is boring, apparently.
Oh, God. Jose.
Yeah, he's got a hard on for me.
Ooh, nice sailfish.
Oh, he's going live at 1 o'clock, right?
Huh?
Or he's going live in about an hour.
Jose
I keep
says,
saying 1 o'clock. That's 1 o'clock my time.
Yeah, Jose just said I canceled the live show. I have visit coming. Okay.
What is the difference between a marlin and a sailfish? Are they the same fish?
No.
They look a lot. They look alike, don't they?
I don't think so. But don't ask me. I'm not a fisherman.
Probably different species in the same genus or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah, marlin has a smaller fin, smaller dorsal fin. Yeah. It's the same body, just different dorsal fin. It's got the same nose, same long nose and stuff. I just looked it up.
Marlin get rather large, I believe. I think maybe they get bigger than the sailfish. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm a freshwater fisherman. Big thing they have around here is crab. Crab fishing is a big thing here. That and salmon. We have the biggest salmon barbecue in the United States, I think. It's here in Fort Bragg, California.
I like salmon.
Yeah, it's great. It comes out of cans, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can get it that way too. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Carl K, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining.
You too. Yeah. My throat is a little bit sore, but I'm fine.
Yeah, okay. Don't be coming down with a log allergy.
No log allergy here, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's
Make
me
sure
with
you
the. Sorry.
make sure you wear make sure you wear a mask when you're speaking into the mic.
Yeah, I got the other way around. I have a mask around the mic. So fine.
I really don't see the problem with masks. Have you seen some of the masks that they sell? Like some of them are pretty high tech. Their own like with fans built in, and I think one of them even has a microphone and a speaker so you could be understood when you're talking. I think it's some pretty cool COVID masks out there.
Get one with like a voice changer.
Yeah. I've got one that I printed on my 3D printer that it's based, the look of it is based on the helmet from Fallout 4, a video game. I'm a gamer, it appealed to me.
Yeah. Never got into Fallout.
I never got into games of any sort.
They're a fun distraction.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
agree.
afraid.
I'm into the more mil sim, like tactical shooters, SWAT style, going and rescue a hostage or whatever. That appeals to me more because I'm a veteran.
I would play more, but I don't have the time.
Yeah. Hey, you got a pretty busy life. I'm unemployed. Got all the time in the world.
Only reason why I'm on now is right now I'm actually on staff duty, so I pretty much have a good 24 hours to burn. So I'll be on duty for 24 hours.
A risk of coming in a little bit soft. I actually cried 2 times when I played 2 different games on my PlayStation. Then that's nice.
Which games?
It was Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that one. That's the one where it's ancient Japan, and
Yep.
I've seen people play that. They got some pretty emotional scenes going on there.
Exactly. It's like a good movie when you kind of in some control of it. Or
Yeah.
it's nice.
There's a guy named Artie. He's got 2 channels, Artie's Gaming and Artie's Corporate Fiction. He's a lawyer that covers like sovereign citizen and court cases and First Amendment auditors. And then he has another channel where he just plays like Fallout or Ghost of Tsushima or whatever game he likes.
Yeah, I like Fallout. I like the setting. It appeals to me. The post-apocalyptic fine things and open world stuff. That's really good.
Yeah, I like the power armor. That's just awesome. I want a power armor set in real life. That would just be cool.
Who doesn't?
And I could print one. I mean, I could actually print a suit of power armor, but it would take like a year. It would take a long time to print one of those.
Did you print Master Chief armor?
Say what?
Could you print Master Chief's armor?
Yeah, I can print anything I want. I love 3D printing. I haven't done a lot. I'm having trouble with thermal runaway warnings right now, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just giving me a warning, and I think it's the software, the firmware I need to update. So those things will catch your house on fire if they go into thermal runaway.
Be better not to do that.
Yeah, those heating elements will get up to like 500-600 degrees Celsius. They're hot.
Yeah,
I think 500 is the top.
That'll set some stuff on fire.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Well, it's a 2-hour and 15-minute mark. I'm starting to get a little hungry, so I think I'm going to say good night to the YouTube crowd. And we'll come back and do it again another day. Thanks for coming, everybody. And just listening to us ramble back and forth on and on. It's kind of fun. So, anybody on the panel got anything to add? Speak now.
Yes. One question, if I might.
Sure.
Did you end up sending Johnny B an invite to here?
Geez, it slipped my mind.
Good.
Just an oversight on my part.
I just have to say, Sandiba's high school football rules.
You know, actually, I think I did send Johnny he asked for one, didn't
he? Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, I think in a moment of weakness, I actually sent him one. But that's okay. I've got a mute button if I need to use it. Although I don't use it very often.
Why?
Actually, I've only used it once, and that was to mute Sean, kind of think.
Yeah. Yep, that was, day before yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, only for a minute.
Yeah.
Not even that, 30 seconds.
And I deserved it. I mean, I was coming in hot. We both were.
Just slowing you guys down a little bit, that's all.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. So,
only thing I wanted to say real quick was I'm going to try and I know Brian was asking for the uncut 24-hour sun footage, which I went ahead and clipped out of that video. So I want to try and post it on my channel, but I don't want to get a copyright just for posting that video which was taken from another channel. So maybe I'm going to try and reach out to the guy and see if he'll allow me to post it. If not, I'll just send it to him. I mean, he never really looks at my videos anyway, but I'll just probably just send it to him if not.
Is that video from Robert Shorts?
Yeah, it's from, what's his name? Anthony Powell.
Well,
the one where they claim that the clouds were the same at two parts of it. Well, I have the raw footage, which was posted on another channel where he did an interview. So I watched that interview, and there's another video where he just looks at that footage, and he plays it 3 times, and the third time he played it all the way through without like fast forwarding or anything. So I clipped that out of the video, and I made a little video of it.
Well, you can always do this. Put it up on your channel as either private or unlisted, and send Brian a link to it, and then you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. I've done that before. That works.
But he'll probably come back and claim that there's some sort of anomaly or some sort of weird shadow somewhere that's not doing what it's supposed to do. And if that's the case, then the whole thing is just fake.
Well, there is that one place, where the sun momentarily ends up behind that little bump, that little hill, and comes back out from behind it right where it should. But I guarantee you he'll bitch about that.
Oh, yeah.
Because the sun for that few frames is not visible.
Well, if you blink, it's not a 24-hour sun, right? Because you lost sight of it for a microsecond.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that it went behind the mountain on the right side and exits from behind the mountain on the left side, exactly like it should. But that he'll complain about that, I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only thing you'll be able to find.
Right.
Everything else is perfect. Not a thing wrong with it. I've seen that before. I've seen that same video in several places.
Yeah, but the one I'm gonna post is like because if you watch the documentary, or I'm not sure if you've seen my video where they cut it, they cut the original video, they cut it in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I have is I have the raw actual footage where they didn't cut it.
And they can't. They still can't explain the 5-day, 24-hour sun.
Yeah,
video.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, they're terrified of that one.
Yeah, I love that particular one you're talking about, B-Ball, because it's actually tracking the sun. But there's a bunch of other ones where you watch shadows circle.
Yes.
And you ain't going to get that shadow from twilight or something. That's the only way you get that shadow is from direct sunlight.
Yeah, but since you can't see the sun, we don't know if it's actually the sun. That's
right.
That's their claim.
Yeah.
The funniest comment I heard from the one that B-Ball talking about is, that can't be real because there aren't any letters in the sky.
What?
Yeah, because he went into an editing software and he put the direction, the cardinal directions in there, and he put a watch or whatever, it shows west, east.
Yeah.
It doesn't say west or east in the sky in real life. That can't be a real video.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his other video. There's two. So there's that one and there's the other one. The one I'm
okay.
Yeah. That one they just think the sun is fake in that one.
Yeah.
That's the claim.
Hell, it's any port in a storm, They'll latch on to anything they can get their hands on. Yeah.
Any excuse will do.
Any one. Yeah. They'll always find something.
Question for you guys. If you're stood at the North Pole, if you're stood at the South Pole, how do you define east and west? Because every direction is north. And of course, the inverse applies at the north.
Well, that's a good question. Next question.
Well, I think what's funny is they talk about going further south than the South Pole. They're like, there's lands beyond the South Pole. No, there can't be any lands beyond the South Pole. That's the end point.
There is land up there in the South Pole. It's just more of Antarctica until you hit the ocean again.
They should be calling it the South Wall.
Right? Yeah.
And Jose is salty as shit, isn't he? Dude, I could season my fries with what he's putting out.
I'm not looking at the YouTube.
Yeah. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it. I see Jose's typing a lot of stuff though.
I've got it on my other. I got it on my other monitor.
Are you trolling responsibly, Jose?
Yeah, I think he
is. He's crying like a baby is what he's doing.
Now.
Because I took a sub away from his channel, and my membership, and he has been salty ever since.
Now, how did you take a sub? Yeah, really. How did you take a sub away from his channel?
By unsubbing.
Oh, you did that, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you dirty bastard. Go back and resub, Jesus God.
Come on.
He's a fellow YouTuber. Got to play nice. Speaking of playing nice, I want to wish everyone a happy weekend. Have fun. Take care. Don't get in trouble. And we'll be back next week. So say bye-bye, YouTube, everybody.
Bye-bye, YouTube.
All righty. See you guys later. And just that quickly.